Good day everyone, my name is Gail and Miranda and I am assigned to discuss some parts of literary checklist under the topic of characteristics of contemporary theory. So for the continuation of ay namalang sa tackled earlier, number 8, character development. How does the author introduce characters and how do we see their evolution in the story? What is their function and motivation? What kinds of characters are they? Full or round? Stock characters? Stereotypes? So, character development is the process of building a unique three-dimensional character with depth, personality, and clear motivations. Character development can also refer to the changes a character undergoes over the course of a story as a result of their actions and experiences. Furthermore, it enables each scene impacts the character somehow, and then by the end, the character's self-awareness will shift, changing the want and need. Next is tone. What is the author's attitude? What is the mood of the story? Does the author seem sarcastic, aggressive, peaceful, pessimistic, in love, philosophically, detached, hopeful, ironic, bitter, and so on? Whatever the tone, where is it visible in the narrative? So tone is more than an author's attitude toward his or her audience and characters. It is the stylistic means by which an author conveys his or her attitudes in a work of literature. Moreover, tone is an integral part of a work's meaning because it controls the reader's response, which is essential to fully experiencing literature. In literary terms, tone typically refers to the mood implied by an author's word choice and the way that the text can make a reader feel. Next is word color, word sound. How much does the language call attention to or depend on the quality of its sound? For example, through alliteration, assonance, consonant, dissonance, rhythm, usual word choice, and so on. In the process of creating a word, words have the dramatic effect on how we interact with people and how decisions are taken. They can inspire or bring tears among people. These are the reasons why words are powerful expressions tool. So for example, assonance, consonants, alliteration, rhyme. For the type of sound, assonance is the repetition of vowel sound. The consonants, repetition of consonant sound. Alliteration, repetition of vowel or consonant sound. Rhyme, similar vowel or consonant. For the position in word, assonance is anywhere within a word. The same with assonance, the consonants is anywhere within a word. Alliteration, at the beginning of a word. Rhyme, at the end of a word. Next is the paragraph or chapter structure. Are paragraphs very short or are they enormous blocks running across many pages? Are the chapters short or long? How many are there? How are they organized? And why is this important? So, paragraphs is a group of sentences that fleshes out a single idea. In order for a paragraph to be effective, it must begin with a topic sentence. Have sentences that support the main idea of that paragraph and maintain a consistent flow. So, I have here some tips for structuring and writing better paragraphs. First is make the first sentence of your topic sentence. Provide support via the middle sentences. Make your last sentences a conclusion or transition. Know when to start a new paragraph. Use transition words. Next is the time sequencing or chronology. How has the author organized the chronology of events? To what effect? What is the work's structural rhythm? So, in a chronological sequence, the author uses the order of events or chronology to inform readers about events or content. The events may be organized by time or date, by arranging events as a series or of steps or by following a list-like structure. Chronological sequencing is commonly used in nonfiction texts. An example of chronological is a biography that starts in 1920 and goes through 1997. In Eunice's time, he is 67 in chronological age but has the mind and body of someone 55. Allusions. How and how often does the author refer to the other texts? Myths, symbols, famous figures, historical events, quotations, and so on. Allusions are generally regarded as brief but purposeful references within a literary text to a person, place, event, to another work of literature. In addition, allusion is distinguished from other forms of reference. The many ways that works of literature can call out to other works of art by its brevity and often by its indirection. Though just how indirect an allusion is can vary by a wide degree. An allusion is not a deep meditation, but a passing signal that can sometimes escape notice if you're not reading carefully. However, allusions are an essential tool for literary artists that often to situate their own works within the wider culture and the context of literary history. Experimentation in language. Are there any unusual techniques such as stream of consciousness, mixing styles and genres, unusual layout on the page, breaking rules of grammar and form, odd or unstable narrative perspectives, onomatopoeia, aporia, and so on? So, an experimental language is a constructed language designed for linguistics research, often on the relationship between language and thought. One particular assumption having received much attention in fiction is popularly known as the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Experimental linguistics is about studying theories of linguistic representations based on quantitative evidence. This evidence can be experimental in its strict sense or derived from text corpora. Lastly is the metafictional techniques. Thus, the narrator's position, role, and thoughts as a storyteller mentioned explicitly in the text. What function does this serve? Metafiction is a self-conscious literary style in which the narrator or characters are aware that they are part of a work of fiction. Specifically, it's a narrative technique in which the work self-consciously calls attention to itself as a work of fiction. Similar to breaking the fourth wall in theater, metafiction suspends the disbelief of the reader by specifically addressing the reader or discussing its own status.